The Department of Inland Revenue has informed Colombo Additional Magistrate Pasan, Amarasena, that steps are being taken to file indictments before the Colombo High Court against model and actress Piumi Hansamali and Lanka Chairman T.A.C.V. Thambugala for alleged tax evasion. This development comes as part of an ongoing investigation into the financial activities of both individuals who are accused of failing to pay substantial sums in taxes over the past 2 years. Senior State Counsel Dinesh Perera, appearing on behalf of the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue, told the court that investigation reports on both Hansamali and Thambugala have already been submitted to the Attorney General. He further stated that indictments are expected to be filed before the High Court in due course, signaling a significant step forward in the legal proceedings against the accused. The case against Thambugala, the chairman of Lanka, is particularly noteworthy. According to the Department of Inland Revenue, Thambugala is accused of failing to pay 194 million rupees in personal and additional income taxes for the years 2022 and 2023. This substantial sum includes penalties and interest accrued due to the alleged non-payment of taxes. The allegations against Thambugala are not limited to personal income tax evasion. The department has also raised concerns about potential corporate tax irregularities related to his role as the chairman of Lanka. While the exact details of these corporate tax issues have not been fully disclosed, they are expected to form a significant part of the indictment. Once it is filed before the High Court, Thambugala's case highlights the increasing scrutiny that high-profile business figures are facing from tax authorities in Sri Lanka. The substantial amount of alleged unpaid taxes suggests that the authorities are taking a more aggressive stance against tax evasion, particularly when it involves influential individuals in the business community. The legal team representing Thambugala has yet to make a public statement regarding the allegations. However, sources close to the businessman have indicated that he intends to cooperate fully with the investigation and maintain his innocence throughout the legal proceedings. Turning to the case of Piumi Hansamali, the Department of Inland Revenue has leveled serious accusations against the model and actress. Hansamali is accused of evading 194 million rupees in personal income tax for the years 2022 and 2023. This substantial sum alone would be cause for concern, but the allegations against Hansamali do not stop there. In addition to the personal income tax evasion, Hansamali is also accused of failing to pay a further 95 million rupees in taxes linked to a company operated under the name Loliya. This additional allegation adds a layer of complexity to the case, as it involves not just personal finances, but also business operations. The involvement of Loliya in the tax evasion case has raised questions about the nature of Hansamali's business activities and the financial structure of her enterprises. Investigators are likely to scrutinize the operations of Loliya closely to determine the full extent of any tax irregularities and to establish whether there were deliberate attempts to conceal income or misrepresent financial information. Hansamali, known for her modeling career and appearances in various entertainment productions, has maintained a high public profile in recent years. The tax evasion allegations have come as a shock to many of her fans and have sparked discussions about financial accountability in the entertainment industry. Representatives for Hansamali have not yet issued a formal statement regarding the allegations. However, sources close to the actress suggest that she is taking the matter seriously and is in the process of assembling a legal team to address the charges. Presenting progress reports on the ongoing investigations, counsel informed the court that both Thambugala and Hansamali have committed the offense of wrongful utilization by willfully failing to pay taxes owed to the government. This legal characterization of their actions suggests that the authorities believe there was intentional misconduct rather than mere oversight or misunderstanding of tax obligations. The offenses are being investigated under Sections 186, 189, and 190 of the Inland Revenue Act No. 24 of 2017. These sections of the Act deal with various aspects of tax compliance and the penalties for noncompliance. Section 186 typically addresses the failure to file returns or provide information, while Sections 189 and 190 deal with making false or misleading statements and impeding tax administration, respectively. An updated report on the investigations was also submitted to the court, providing the magistrate with the latest findings and developments in both cases. This report is likely to play a crucial role in determining the next steps in the legal proceedings against Thambugala and Hansamali. The cases against Thambugala and Hansamali are part of a broader crackdown on tax evasion in Sri Lanka. In recent years, the government has been stepping up efforts to improve tax collection and reduce the incidence of tax evasion, particularly among high-net-worth individuals and businesses. These high-profile cases serve as a warning to others who might be considering evading their tax obligations. Substantial sums involved, and the potential for severe legal consequences demonstrate the government's commitment to enforcing tax laws and ensuring that all citizens and businesses contribute their fair share to the national coffers. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. And two, the Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system. The Department of Inland Revenue has emphasized that these investigations are part of ongoing efforts to create a more equitable tax system and to ensure that all taxpayers, regardless of their status or influence, are held accountable for their financial obligations to the state. As the cases against Thambugala and Hansamali progress, they are likely to attract significant public attention. The outcomes of these cases could have far-reaching implications for tax enforcement in CRI, Lanka, and may lead to increased scrutiny of financial practices across various sectors of the economy. Legal experts have noted that the filing of indictments before the High Court represents a significant escalation in these cases. If convicted, both Thambugala and Hansamali could face severe penalties, including substantial fines and potential imprisonment. The cases also raise important questions about financial transparency and accountability in Sri Lanka's business and entertainment sectors. They highlight the need for improved financial literacy and a better understanding of tax obligations among public figures and business leaders. As the legal proceedings unfold, it is expected that more details will emerge about the specific nature of the alleged tax evasion and the evidence gathered by the Department of Inland Revenue. These details will be crucial in determining the strength of the cases against Thambugala and Hansamali and in shaping public opinion on the matter. The coming months are likely to see intense legal activity as the cases move forward. The filing of indictments will mark the beginning of a new phase in the legal process, with both the prosecution and defense teams preparing their arguments for what could be lengthy and complex trials. For now, the Sri Lankan public and the business community will be watching closely as these high-profile cases develop, eager to see how the justice system handles allegations of tax evasion against prominent figures in society. The outcomes of these cases could have significant implications for tax compliance and enforcement in the country for years to come.